So I took the dive and went to my professor and told him just the absolute truth. So I told him that Andrew Dodson ate my homework assignments and slurped down my Python programming on my USB stick as a substitute for not receiving any Happy Meals at all. He had me at the balls, which is 1 year in the future. So instead of finishing 1 year early, I was kind of bound to finish 1 year later, which was devastating at this point. I can only guess how much fun it had to be for the professor to go through my answers and read 17 instead of a yes or no in the first exercise.
Papa Flammy's Advent Calendar.
Here.
Good morning, fellow mathematicians. Welcome back to another video. Today is story time with your dada. And I would love to tell you about one of my most stressful experiences in my entire life. And it has to do with something that happened at my university back in the days when I still studied mathematics and physics and pedagogical studies for the bachelor's and the master's. And by the way, don't forget, it's the Advent Calendar right now, meaning we've got great deals going on over on stemage.eu, stemage.com and also my personal Teespring shop. Definitely make sure to check all of these out. Links down there in the description. So as mentioned before, I basically got a triple degree. Collectively speaking, this is what you call the Master of Education here in Germany. And in a normal case, it takes 5 years for you to finish everything up. 3 years of bachelor's and 2 years of master's. But the workaholic that I am decided back in the days to finish all of the studies up 1 year earlier. 1 semester less for each and every part of my studies, meaning only 2.5 years of bachelor's and 1.5 years of master's. And to achieve such a feat, you obviously have to pack your semesters full of modules that you want to do. This is why I basically doubled the amount of courses that were recommended to be taken by new students at my university. Meaning in the first semester, instead of 4 modules, I basically did 7. Overall, yeah, this is what you call 7, 5 and 2, and so on. This went on for the next semesters too, such that I can finish up early. Now, in the second semester, I originally planned on doing computer mathematics. This is where you do Python programming and learn about simple algorithms, Fibonacci numbers, and all of the computational stuff. But I couldn't do computer mathematics in the second semester. The reason for that was because I failed linear algebra in the first semester. Yeah, I failed all mathematics modules in the first semester. This is how much of a loser I am. Meaning I had to postpone enrolling into the course into the 4th semester. Well, that was a bummer, but still not a problem yet. But here comes the big fucking problem. Oh goodness, when I think back to that, it's just absolutely terrible. So when the 3rd semester rolled around, me and another fellow degenerate who wasn't able to finish up linear algebra in the 1st semester went over to the mathematics department because we had some doubts about our university's electronic platform where you had to basically sign up for all the courses. And we went to our mathematics advisor there in the Mathematical Institute. And what we did is we asked him if we still had to enroll into the course completely, because both of us were able to participate in the exam once or twice, okay, second exam, but this doesn't matter. Meaning we basically fulfilled all the requirements to participate once again in the exam. So we got all the homework done, all the 50% that you need to participate in the exam, and we also attended the course once and the lecture and so on. And naturally the person in the mathematics department said, no, you don't need to enroll once again. Why? There's no need to enroll once again in the course. All you really have to do is you have to sign up for the exam once the exam time rolls around, and then you should be good. You should be able to participate basically. And then the exam season rolled around. Oh goodness. It rolled around and it was terrible. It was so terrible. We tried to sign up for the exam, but it didn't work! It didn't work, for fuck's sake! We weren't able to sign up for the exam in the 3rd semester because, here comes the problem, you probably guessed it, because we had to enroll into the course completely at the start of our 3rd semester. Well, what a fucking bummer, am I right? We weren't able to do so because the gosh fucking math advisor just didn't tell us what he should probably need to know. And this obviously fucked us up because, well, I hope you can count together 1 and 1. If I can do linear algebra in the 3rd semester, I have to do it in the 5th semester by enrolling in the course, etc. But this also means that I can't do computer mathematics in the 4th semester because I still don't have linear algebra. Meaning I have to do computer mathematics in the 6th semester. But don't forget what I said at the beginning, I wanted to stop studying in the bachelor's at the 5th semester. Meaning there was no way to basically get my studies done earlier, which was pretty devastating, but it gets better than that. Oh, by the way, yes, we both asked the professor if we could still participate somehow, but he told us if you can do it electronically, if you can register for the exam on the university's platform, there's nothing he can do. Everything works electronically. Nothing works by hand anymore, no lists, etc. And if you can't sign up electronically, you are basically fucked. I seriously hate it. I hate it up until this day, and there are so many other students out there who hate that fact too. So please, University of Potsdam, fix your shit. No one needs this electronic stuff. Please go back to the regular manual stuff. Okay, just writing with your hands, taking lists, taking notes, that would be way better. Now, you probably noticed back in the days, if you were following me since then, that I was posting quite a lot of YouTube videos, like bi-daily or something, okay, every 2nd day. And if you think back to the start of the video, I said that I was taking a lot of courses to finish up early. Well, this had the consequence that I was done with basically all courses in the 3rd semester. So basically, my plan was to finish everything up in the 3rd semester, only have 1 module still to do in the 4th semester, and then my bachelor's thesis in the 5th semester. But now I was done in the 3rd semester basically with everything apart from 1 or 2 things, and I had nothing else to do. It was so fucking boring. I was just wasting my days sitting in the canteen waiting for other fellow students to arrive there who still had a bunch of things to do. Yeah, this is how it was. Only 1 or 2 modules or something per semester, and in the last semester my bachelor's thesis and also computer mathematics, hopefully. Thanks university, very cool. But let's get back to the main anime arc. Now 4th semester was extremely boring, nothing to do there, as mentioned before, apart from eating in the canteen. Now 5th semester rolled around, and the only thing I still had left to do was numerics. This is like the 2nd part of computer mathematics, and now you might think, well, you can't do that because you don't have computer mathematics. But completely paradoxically, you don't need any requirements to participate in numerics, which is totally fucking stupid. Because in a normal case for numerics, you have to know how to program in Python and you have to know how to deal with algorithms and the like. But there were no requirements, meaning I could safely do numerics and try my best to pass the course. And yeah, this course was all about programming with Python and identifying algorithms. And I never touched Python before. I didn't know computer mathematics yet. I never seen a real algorithm before. But I still was able to pass all the requirements to get my ass over to the exam. Thanks, fellow students. Very cool. Thanks for giving me your homework assignments. That was very nice of you. And now for a fun little side story. The day of the exam rolled around. Oh, I love that story. And in the very first exercise, I still remember it like it was yesterday, we had to basically investigate an algorithm which was printed out on paper, and we had to find out what it does. And all we had to do is write the output, which would come as the output in Python, onto a little line. Just write there what the program is going to spit out on the other side. Me, no experience whatsoever, the smart guy that I am, wrote the number 17 onto the line. After the exam was done, I gathered with my fellow students which were in the course, and then we were discussing the solutions, and all of them had some kind of experience with Python. And they were all pretty sure that the answer that the program is going to spit out was the word yes. I can only guess how much fun it had to be for the professor to go through my answers and read 17 instead of a yes or no in the first exercise. She probably couldn't guess that I'm being a fucking retard there. But that is such a fun story, I thought I might as well share it with you. That's your papa for you. It's so nice. Oh, but, by the way, I passed that exam with a 2.0 overall, which is pretty nice. The best grade is 1.0. So yeah, I didn't do half bad. There weren't many points on programming or the first exercise, so that was good. And also in that 5th semester I passed linear algebra finally. Not too well, I think with a 3.0, but I didn't prepare for that. Just like with any other exam ever, not really preparing for that. And finally passing linear algebra also meant that I was able to enroll in computer mathematics, the final enemy of my bachelor's studies. A 2nd semester course, oh goodness. And do you know what the best thing about being late is at university? You can ask all the fellow students who are already done with the module if they can give you their homework assignments and in computer mathematics all the Python programming that they have done before. But if only it were that easy. Now, just let me tell you that all the homework assignments and the programming were completely identical. There was nothing new about that. All I had to do was copy and paste the whole thing and just send all the Python files over to my professor. The only thing that was holding me back though was myself, because I rarely thought about sending the things over. I had so much free time and so much waiting and eating at the cantina to do that I totally forgot to send my homework assignments. Isn't that fucking great? Last semester, no homework done. That's so good. And for us to participate in any kind of exam, we always had to reach 50% of the homework assignment points. That was like a requirement next to basically signing up for the lectures. Last homework assignment, I only got 15%. And I think you can see the obvious problem here. There's no way in fucking hell that I could participate in the exam that way. I didn't have the only requirement that was needed to participate in that hellhole. And think a bit further, if I can't participate now, I don't have the required points. I would have to wait up until the next summer semester to participate once again, which is 1 year in the future. So instead of finishing 1 year early, I was kind of bound to finish 1 year later, which was fucking devastating at this point. But guys, you know me, I'm a real man. I'm an alpha male. I put JoJo music over my cringeworthy shorts. So I took the dive and went to my professor and told him just the absolute truth. There can't be lying involved when being in such a pinch. So I told him that Andrew Dodson ate my homework assignments and slurped down my Python programming on my USB stick as a substitute for not receiving any Happy Meals at all. And I was there on my knees begging for a last chance. I was seriously sucking its cock at this point. He had me at the balls. And the professor was one from the old school, from the old times. He was a beast. He was crafty. He was nifty. He was kinky. He was everything, seriously. This guy is a really harter Hund, as you would say in German. He loved to be very strict, even during his lectures and on homework assignments. And he really liked to scold the students and try to be like a father figure, just like Charles White is one to us here on the internet, on YouTube. But hearing my emotional speech about Andrew being the fucking asshole that he is, he teared up and he gave me a last chance. This last chance being, I had to program something, a program that he gave me, a little exercise, just something very easy. And I obviously said yes. And at that very moment when I said yes, I basically got a stroke right there in his office. Because I never touched Python before, how the fuck can I program? And I only had 1 week as a substitute for the original homework assignment, the last one, to basically program something. And there were problems about that, big problems. It was not only programming something, it was programming a special fucking something. A special hot garbage professor super special thing. Next to being a very strict professor and being an old school boy who knew his craft, he was also known for inventing programs that required really specific reprogramming to get the job done, especially when dealing with bigger numbers. The exercise that he gave me was one that no student has solved before. No one was able to solve it before, not even the people who were tutoring the CS guys who were under his control, basically, his subordinates, you could say. No one was able to solve it up until now because this program required you to basically do something with prime factorizations. I can't remember the specifics, and something with a square root included. And thing was, in Python with big numbers, you get an overflow really quickly, especially when dealing with math.square root functions. And this program, or the exercise, required me to basically give 13 numbers as an output. But that was not easy. There was one number in there, which was so fucking hard to be sped out by the Python program. It was basically impossible for me to do in 1 week, especially since I had no Python experience whatsoever. So my quest now was to learn Python really quick. And by really quick, I mean edges of the screen quick. Can I get the edges of the screen? Those are the edges of the screen. Very quick. I hope you can see how I'm emphasizing the quickness here in this argument. So what I did is, I did the only logical thing. I went over to Herr Hansch, a fellow student of mine, and he gave me basically the phone number of his brother. His brother was also called Herr Hansch, Mr. Hansch, and he was studying computer sciences, but also in the pedagogical side of things. But never mind, he was pretty good at it, and he, together with another CS student, taught me Python. And we were wasting 5 days trying to get me to learn Python. After those 5 days, I seriously made massive progress. I was able to program everything that was there in the homework assignments for computer mathematics and also numerics, and even further than that. But it was still not close to being enough to figure out this fucking problem that the professor gave me. And after 5 days, there also passed 1 day of taking kind of a little break. And then there was the last day. And seriously, I had no idea how to do this. I was totally lost. But then I remembered that he also gave this exercise to the pure math students back in the days in numerics. So I went over to the pure math students. There were a few friends of mine too, and I asked them if they had this program lying around. And indeed, they still had it lying around on a PC. We let it run, and what did the program do? It spat out numbers. It worked perfectly. Apart from this one fucking huge number where Python was overflowing at. 12 numbers, but this wasn't enough. He wanted 13 numbers. Ah, goodness, this fucking program. By the way, I would love to tell you what it was about exactly. Maybe I can find it on my PC or something, what I still have lying around, but I can't tell you the specifics of the program anymore because it was just too long ago. And at this point, I knew a bit about Python, quite a lot, but I still couldn't figure out for the hell of it what the problem was. Why wasn't there a 13th number? I didn't know about the overflowing and all of this. I didn't encounter problems with big numbers and the math square root before. So this was all pretty new to me, and I seriously couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was analyzing the program, everything seemed fine, but there was still no 13th number. It was nowhere to be found. And I want to emphasize once again, this professor is extremely crafty. He is known in our mathematics department for creating very, very devilish questions. Ones that can't even be solved by his PhD students and the like, just because he implements stuff so very, very cleverly into Python that he finds out numbers which are going to overflow the program and the like. It's really crazy. I have no idea how this guy can come up with such stuff, but respect. Serious respects to the guy. I love this professor. Now, I was at the brink of universal extinction. And then I did what every good student would do. I went on the internet. At first, MathStack Exchange. No, obviously not. He came up with the question. Couldn't find any trace of this whatsoever. Then I went over to the Facebook group, my most favorite one back in the days, implying we can discuss mathematics, and I created a post there that I need serious help. Many people from back then knew who I was, or maybe even today, Papa Flammy, and they tried to help me. And I only had like 5 hours left before I really needed to go to bed, and the next day I had to give the homework assignment, the special one, to my professor, so there wasn't much time left. About 3 hours passed by and no one was able to help me. Everyone who tried reprogramming, etc. only got 12 numbers out. No trace of the 13th number whatsoever. But then, by God, my hero arrived. He is known for posting a lot of loss memes. Is this loss? On mathematics memes and implying a saint in human form. If I could, I would suck his dick, big time, seriously. Josh Leo came around and sent me a private message on Facebook and asked if I could send him the Python script. Literally. I can't believe it. After I explained the problem to him and everything, sent him the script. 3 minutes later, I looked into our personal chat just a few minutes ago. He sent me the solution. What he did is, instead of using the regular math square root, he simply implemented an integer square root. This integer square root is just a redefined, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just a redefined square root using basically the exponent to the 1/2 power, if I'm not mistaken, instead of the regular math square root. And he was implementing just this integer square root. You can find things like this online, bunch of these. And then I ran the program. 1 number, 2 numbers, 10 numbers, 11 numbers, 12. Waiting a few more minutes, the 13th number popped up. This fucking guy did it in 3 minutes, what no one else was able to do at the university for the past, I don't know, 7 years or something, I don't know. But by God, this guy saved my fucking German ass. It finally worked. 13 numbers. For fuck's sake. This professor, how can he come up with stuff like this? He's such an evil genius. It's outright hilarious. Such a sadistic bastard. He was able to send me through hell. But I was able to not figure it out for myself, but to get the job done with the help of my fellow students once again. Thank you very much, Internet. Very cool. Next day, I went over to the professor and I showed him the program in his office. 1 number, 2 numbers, 3 numbers. He was already pretty prepared for basically giving me the big fat no-no. But then after the 12th number, a few more minutes waiting, 13th number finally popped up. And he was outright astonished. Seriously, the look on his face was just pretty damn good. In the normal case, he's looking like, but at this moment he was going, he thought, this guy right there, he knows how this shit goes. He's pretty genius. But I seriously couldn't tell him that I couldn't do it for myself. But it doesn't matter at this point. I was able to give him the program and he was seriously astonished. And he congratulated me and he said, yeah, I can see you are willing to get this done. And for a student who seriously tries to get something done like this and who's serious about finishing everything up, I seriously explained him the whole situation. Completely in honesty. I was being lazy, etc. And he said, honesty will bring you forwards. This is what you can take away from this video. And he couldn't push away a student who's working hard. And I was seriously working hard in this week. I was learning everything Python and the like. And this had one big advantage. I was able to participate in the exam, obviously. And I passed the exam with 1.7. As mentioned before, 1.0 is the best grade you could possibly get. And I finished it up with it was 1.3 actually, because I only got one question wrong because I couldn't identify for the Ethiopian multiplication. It was, I think, this is what I had to program, how it worked. It worked using binary. basically. This is what I couldn't answer to him. This is why he gave me basically a little bit of a worse grade than 1.0. But this didn't matter for me. I didn't need to prepare for this exam at all because I already prepared for it, basically passively, by doing 5 days straight of Python programming. And this was such a good therapy for me. It was so fucking stressful. It was one of the worst experiences of my whole life, but it turned out so nicely at the end. And I could finish up my bachelor's in a regular time, sadly. But I finished up my master's half a year earlier, as you might have noticed from my master's video and the like. So yeah, overall everything turned out pretty nicely. Just a last little side arc. Later in my master's, so from the second semester onwards, next to pumping my schedule full with modules and like, I was starting to teach other students at my university, because starting from the second semester I improved so much at university. I was sucking up all the education in my little crazy head, maybe because of my wife, I don't know, because we met up, but never mind. I was tutoring once again, and then the professor, asked me personally if I wanted to be a tutor for the CS students. He remembered me. I was the guy who wasn't even able to participate in the exam at first. And he remembered me so fucking hard that he asked me if I would like to be a tutor for that semester. And I said yes. We were pretty good comrades in the last few semesters at my university. And if you're watching this right now, this goes out to you. You still know me, I'm pretty certain about that. And I love this guy. He's such a great guy, such a fucking good professor. And I hope he's living a happy life, and I hope he's so fucking safe out there even during Rona-chan. Please stay well. And this basically concludes my little story for today. And there are a few motivational things you should take away from this video. Don't be a fucking lazy piece of shit. This is what you need to take away from it. And on the other hand, be honest. Obviously, you can get by with a bunch of little lies. Okay, I forgot my homework because Andrew ate it once again, because he doesn't get proper meals done there in the basement. This is all good and fine. But if worst comes to worst, the only thing to get out of these situations is to tell the person the truth and to just be completely honest. And if you are always honest, if you live your life nicely, just be an honest fucking person and never try to be someone else or tell the lies too much, okay? Then everything is going to go well. The world and karma is not going to punish the people who are nice, okay? Who are going to try their best to succeed in life. So this is what you should take away from the video. And I hope you did enjoy what you have seen today. More of a talky video, but I hope you did like what you saw today. Actually, some passages reminded me very much of Moist Critical. If you do like stuff like this, then feel free to tell me. I would love to create more of this commentary style content, because it's a lot of fun to do, and yeah, I know, it's something completely different for once. So yeah, feel free to let me know down there in the comments. And other than that, don't forget to check out my woodworking channel too, Flammy's Wood, and go buy some stuff to support the channel. And after the next video, I wish you guys a great fucking day. Please stay safe, and yeah, have a flammable day. Ciao.